Alright, I want to give a bit of a follow-up on my iPad video. I've had quite a few PMs, video response, lots of comments, questions that I feel very relevant to go ahead and answer. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, when I got this iPhone, I had really watched the market, as I stated in my first iPad video, and see where it was going. It got to the point to where this really attracted me for what I wanted to do in business. Okay, I've had Blackberries, I've had Windows Mobile. I have not had, nor have I experienced the new Android or Nexus 1. But this was the first phone to actually complete everything that I wanted to get done on the go with a mobile device like this. We're not talking about a laptop or a netbook, because I own a laptop and I've also owned a netbook. I wasn't too fond of the netbook. I find it awkward to either trim down the OS to a point to where it can run on lower hardware, and we're talking about a full-blown desktop OS, which can do mode switching, because the point is the application. If you harm, let's say, parallel threads that want to run, or applications that are expecting resources normally under normal desktop conditions that are not there, end up affecting the application. And if the point's the application, I'd rather give it the full power that it would need. Moreover, I don't need a full-blown operating system to do what I want to do on the go. I'm not going to sit here and do serious, rich computing on the go. So therefore, I also don't want to pay the price that comes with rich computing in terms of licensing and the hardware involved if I want to connect other things to it, so on and so forth. First and foremost, I've had a lot of questions about pricing. Like I've said, I pay around $130, $135, somewhere around there, a month for this. I'm not pleased in paying that much. Alright? I have always been finding ways to use voice over IP to cut down on voice minutes, to the point of eliminating the need to even buy voice minutes. Okay? But as a package deal, it comes at a too high a price, in my opinion. It does what I want it to do, but I'd like to go cheaper. Also, if I can, I'd like a bigger screen real estate than this. And I'm not talking about a hard keyboard or what have you, and I don't want to get stuck with another Android or a Windows Mobile phone or what have you. All of those plans usually are above $100, and I'm not looking to do that per month. Okay, so another smartphone is out of the question for me. I have for personal use, a prepaid phone. It's very, 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 very cheap. I'm not one that really talks a whole lot on the phone. Moreover, my business calls are usually done within meetings or some sort of conferencing or in the car. So, going with another smartphone is not where I'm wanting to go. The iPad, as I stated in my last video, became very attractive for me. The reason being was a whole voice over IP over 3G at $30 a month for an unlimited plan, which we all know for all the carriers is 5 gigs. And voice over IP, you get hours and hours of talk time, and the amount of data usage I use, I'd be well under the thresholds for what I want to do. Now, I'm going to put up a chart comparing all the possible product lines, because I've been asked to say, hey, why don't you get a 3G netbook or this other thing. Well, I've already, like I said, ruled out getting another smartphone. All of their plans are pretty much over $100. So let's talk about, now I'll put up the chart. For a 2-year contract is how I did the spread. Each device that I'm listing here, I have the vendor, I have the device, I have its actual upfront cost, and then I actually have its monthly cost and then the sum of the 2-year contract to give you a total. Well, if I'm going to continue with my iPhone at $135 a month, 0 upfront cost, I'm at $3,240 at the end of 2 years. If I go with the iPad, I only want the 16 gig. I do productivity on 8 gigs. It's more than enough. I don't know where people want with large footprints, but the type of work that I do doesn't require a very large footprint. Moreover, for security reasons, I'm always offloading and then onloading based upon my needs. The iPad, upfront price, $629. The contract monthly price is $30 a month. So over 2 years, it's $720. So $629 and $720 comes to $1,349. Significantly cheaper than having my iPhone. Let's talk about getting a 3G netbook. The AT&T offers the HP Mini 110. Its upfront cost is $199. Its data plan a month is $60 a month, and that equals $1,440. So let's add the $199 and $1,440, and it comes up to $1,639. Still more expensive than using the iPad. Let's go to Verizon, because AT&T has just varied prices between $149 and $199. But let's go to Verizon. The Gateway LT2016U, whatever the product number, price upfront $149. Its monthly contract for 2 years, it's $60 a month. Again, that's $1,440. $149 and $1,440, $1,589. So there is a netbook by Sprint, which they give for 99 cents. And let's just say I'm going to put it at 0. Okay, I'm going to get a free netbook. We're going to put the cost up front at 0, which means I'm only going to pay $60 a month for 2 years for that data plan contract. All of these are unlimited. That's still $1,440, which is still more expensive than $1,349. I'm still ahead with the iPad. So you could give me a free netbook, and all I have to do is pay the data plan, but I still come out cheaper having the iPad. Apple made a great deal with AT&T, and I think people need to understand really what that is. So no, a netbook or another smartphone is not going to beat the iPad with all the 2-year contract and everything, as you see on the screen. Now, there are other things where they say, well, why the iPad should have Snow Leopard on it. Well, let's talk about that. Snow Leopard already had the RISC binaries taken out of it. Okay. We want to now put new binaries to run on the iPad, because it's under a RISC architecture, put them back into Snow Leopard and have more kernel modifications and shut down services that normally can't run on the type of hardware that's within the iPhone, mobile, these mobile devices and the iPad. So again, I'm possibly starving applications of resources and performance. What is the point? I don't need that much richness. One day maybe there will be hardware on these devices that lasts at today's desktop performance, but we're not there yet. So OpenCL, all that other stuff, pretty much not really there unless they have some sort of integrated work, but I haven't seen it yet on the actual specs within the integrated system on a chip, if you will. But you're not going to get the type of threading you want, and again, if the hardware resources are there for a full-blown application that expects it to be on a normal desktop environment that's not there, we're having different types of performance issues. And that's not something I'm interested in, and again, I'm repeating myself, not interested in paying the license for something like that. The other was about tethering. Well, the iPad, for me, if I can make it clearer, is replacing the iPhone. This has Wi-Fi in 3G. The iPad has Wi-Fi in 3G. I don't understand why I'd want to tether. I am under a 2-year contract with this device. Therefore, I must fulfill my obligation. That is what I am talking about. When the obligation of this iPhone is complete, I will then purchase the iPad. I will not run 2 data plans. I'm not going to go purchase an iPad while I have the iPhone. I don't really need to. That's redundant, nor do I want to carry 2 devices. So that also goes back to tethering. Tethering implies carrying 2 devices. I don't want to carry 2 devices. Just want the 1 device. And the iPad fits the bill of letting me use voice over IP, which I could do through a Bluetooth headset or other type of headset, which I don't know, maybe other people are seeing that, but it's quite easy. You put it in your car and the headset goes off. It's not like, I guess people imagine phones always to the ear, but I rarely ever talk on the phone like that. As a matter of fact, my iPhone is always on Bluetooth or other some sort of headset. And so, if I may, no 2 devices going around. The iPad is the perfect combination of the screen real estate that I want and to do everything I need in the business in one package. The other thing why I like the iPad is I don't need to reinvent the wheel or relearn or reacquire new software. Everything that I'm used to on a day-to-day basis easily transfers over to the iPad. That's a perfect environment. I don't need to add any other headaches to the way that I'm doing the productivity now. Then there was talk of, well, the 3G network for AT&T is not the best. I'm not going to get into the carrier debates, but I do know where I'm at. The city of Houston is one of a few cities that has the faster 3G services from AT&T, the HSPA 7.2. And so far, the speeds have been great over my iPhone, and I cannot complain. So I hope this clears up and answers the questions that I've been getting in regards to my opinions on the iPad. And I will say, quite honestly, if the main features that I'm looking for on the iPad actually turn out not to be, then I will not be acquiring the product. It won't suit me. But for now, it looks as it will. Time will tell when the iPad is released. That is the actual, to be fair to the product, and for all of us to be fair to the product, should wait to the hands-on to give a truer assessment of the iPad. On the last note, I have been reading articles that Apple is considering lowering the price of the iPad. Even better. It would make my entire cost analysis even cheaper. Thanks for watching.